Hello, New Wave of British Heavy Metal.com here. Today it's the 26th of September 2023. Before we get into it, a quick request as usual, and that's if you wouldn't mind please subscribing to the channel. That'd be marvellous, big help, appreciated. So please do click that button if you wouldn't mind. Today, I suppose it's a bit of an unusual one. Alan Davey, who you may remember from his long stints with Hawkwind and what an excellent bass player he is. Well, this is his Bedouin project, Time is Made of Gold. The second album came out 2019, some 18 years or so after their debut album in 2001. And I'll be straight, I bought this on nothing more than a whim a few days ago. I mean, I like Hawkwind, I admire Alan Davey's bass playing, but I'd not come across Bedouin before until it popped up on Amazon as one of them recommended listen things that Amazon are so good at putting in front of you and making sure that you can't resist them, right? So this was one of them. It popped up as I was looking at something else, and described as, if I can quote what it said there, mind-blowing Middle Eastern inspired prog space music. Well, that was good enough for me, right? So sure enough, so as I said, I admire Alan Davey's bass playing, I like Hawkwind, so I thought, well, that's a good enough description for me. I'll hit the button, and that's the basis I bought it on. No expectations, no nothing, and rather pleased I did. It's quite excellent. So it's basically a duo. Alan plays everything, including the kitchen sink, I think, and the vocals are provided by someone called Michelle Jimenez Alder, and she's got a fine voice, very fine voice. Musically, so not knowing what to expect here other than that description of the space prog rock music or whatever it was with that Middle Eastern tinge, I just had no expectations whatsoever. But musically, that description of Middle Eastern inspired space prog is exactly what it is. I'd say it's a mixture of like Hawkwindish, spacey, chuggy rockers that the typical Hawkwind stuff with that Eastern influence, and some songs, some tracks are what you might deem more of a traditional sort of hypnotic Middle Eastern style, and not too far removed from, if you might remember it going back to the 1970s, good old Nick Turner's Zittin' Today Sphinx project, that album, it's a little bit like that in parts as well. So there's quite a mixture there, but it does fit together. I said that the vocals from Michelle are excellent. She's got a fine range, and impressively, I think they're sort of a floaty, almost ethereal style at times. It adds to the overall atmospheric feel of it. We've got 18 tracks, and they all go together to give that quite an immersive listen. And that's that variation and mixture between the spacey, rocky, chuggy types and the more traditional Middle Eastern type stuff does give quite an impressive listen. As an example of the Hawkwindish stuff, you got Karma Is Coming, one of the early songs, typical, spacey rock type stuff with that Eastern tinge to it as well. And, it all works so well throughout. So, but anyway, a quick aside, on Hawkwind, because we're mentioning them a fair bit, aren't we? In a few days, the back end of this week, I think it's the 29th of September, the massive big box version of Space Ritual is due to, well, the postman ain't going to get it through the letterbox, that's for sure. So I'll be waiting for a knock on the door and the poster giving me a nice big box which will have the Space Ritual 50th anniversary box set in it. Eagerly awaiting that, and of course a review will follow after I've digested the 700 or so CDs that make it up. But do check out Bedouin. So Alan Davey's onto something with this. It's not instantly accessible, though it is an album which opens up and rewards with each spin. I thought very well written and performed, and just that little bit different. So no regrets for an impulse buy. being an old Hawkwind fan. So if you are, I'm sure you probably like it as well. As always, link in the description below so you can go and buy it in whatever format you like on Amazon. I think the usual formats are available, so please do that. Please also subscribe to the channel before you go, that'd be marvellous. And as always, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and take care.